Today's lesson is going to focus on a very exciting topic. To this point, we have learned how to locate and read from music all of the natural notes in the first 3 frets of the guitar. So we know, for example, that the first string, the high E string, the open string is E, and the first fret is F, and the third fret is G. And we know that the second string, open, is B, the first fret is C, the third fret is D, so on and so forth. But the question always comes up, what are those frets that we don't know what notes go there? So if you think about it, on that first string, the open string is E, the first fret is F, the third fret is G, but what happens at the second fret? And we have those missing frets throughout the 6 strings that we've worked through so far. I need to introduce you to 2 friends. The first friend is something called a sharp. Not a hashtag, not a number sign, but a sharp. Simply put, a sharp means 1 fret higher in pitch than the natural note. The first string of the guitar. Open is E. The first fret is F. The third fret is G. The note 1 fret higher than F would be F sharp at the second fret. The other new friend is someone called a flat. A flat simply means 1 fret lower than the natural note. G is at the third fret. The note 1 fret lower in sound is at the second fret. That's G flat. Now, you're probably asking yourself a question. F sharp, the note higher than F. G flat, the note lower in sound than G. They're the same fret. That's exactly right. We call that inharmonic. Inharmonic means 2 notes that sound the same that can be written differently, like F sharp and G flat. No one can tell you by sound, is that F sharp or G flat, because it's either or both. And while that may sound strange, if I were to ask you to spell the word to, you couldn't do it unless you knew the context. Am I referring to the preposition? Am I referring to the number? What to am I referring to? So, it works the same way. I'd like to show you now our new updated wheel that includes all the sharps and flats. What you're going to notice is every note has a sharp or a flat with 2 exceptions. There is no sharp above E, and there is no flat below F. There is also no sharp above B, and no flat below C. Now the funny thing is we already know this, because the open first string is E. The first fret is F. There is no fret space in between those notes that we could have a sharp and flat. So if you always remember that in our new circle, we go straight from E to F, and we go straight from B to C, you have this completely figured out. Now, as a practice, work up any of the 6 strings, note by note. I'll go ahead and demonstrate this on the first string of the guitar. So we know, according to our wheel and according to the notes that we've learned, the open first string is E. We also know that the first fret is F. If we go 1 fret higher than F, that becomes F sharp. The other name for F sharp is 1 fret lower than the next note, which is G, G flat. So we'll start calling it both of those things, F sharp and G flat. The third fret, our old friend G. The fourth fret, 1 fret higher in sound than G, G sharp, and 1 fret lower than the next note in the alphabet, A flat, G sharp or A flat. The next note, A. The next note, A sharp or B flat. The next note, B. The next fret, the 8th fret, C. There is no sharp between B and C. There is no flat between C and B. The 9th fret, C sharp or D flat. The 10th fret, D. The 11th fret, D sharp or E flat. And the 12th fret, E. The 12th fret of every string is the octave of the open string. Open E, 12th fret E. So you know you're correct when you've gone all the way up the string and reached the octave at the 12th fret. Go ahead and pause the video and work up a couple of strings, making sure that you know where all the sharps and flats are, and that by the time you get to the 12th fret, that you have the octave note of the open string. Welcome back. On page 56, we're going to talk about how we will find sharps and flats in a piece of music. And there's only two ways. The first way is something called a key signature. If you look at the example on page 56 of Beginning Classroom Guitar, we have a very cool piece of music titled Viano. Viano is a great beginning classical piece that you may decide to practice. If you look at the beginning, right after our treble clef, you'll notice that there are two sharps in the score. Now, if we were to look at what notes those sharps occur on, the first one would be on the note F. The second one occurs on the note C. What this tells us is that throughout this piece, all Fs and all Cs, no matter where they are on the staff, above the staff, below the staff, they'll always be played as sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Here's what this piece sounds like. You notice that we had F sharp, as the key signature tells us, all Fs are F sharp, and we had at the end C sharp. Even though it's below the staff, all Cs would be played C sharp because of the sharp in the key signature. This is the first way that we'll see sharps and flats in a piece. There's one other. On page 57, we have the other way that we will see sharps and flats in a piece of music. This is something called an accidental. Now, an accidental is when we have a sharp or flat within the piece of music. That sharp or flat will only affect the note that it's right next to, and any exact repetition of that note, but it's negated by the bar line. So for example, if we had a sharp next to a C note, that C would be sharp, and any other repetitions of that exact note would also be sharp until we reach the bar line. This piece is actually a very fun arpeggio study that I challenge you to work on. It uses many of the chords that we've already learned. Here's what Prelude sounds like. On the second line in the second measure, you'll notice that there was an accidental. There was a sharp next to the C note. That sharp only affected that C note and any repetitions till the end of the bar line, and there weren't any. This will open the door to many more complicated pieces, be it rock, jazz, or classical music.